Hello and welcome to Trading Twos, a Penn State football podcast. I am Ryan Parsons. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend Will Pegler. And Will, the bye week is over, and it is officially, I guess, the biggest game of the year we're going to have left.
Yeah, man. This and Indiana are really as big as they get. How's it going? Good to see you. Ready to roll? Yeah, man. Bye week and then right into Ohio State. This is a huge game, not for the reasons I expected in August, but still a huge game. Uh, Anytime you're going to Columbus, it's a massive game, and they're the number one team in the country. We're not really holding up our preseason end of the bargain in terms of how good Penn State is versus how good Ohio State is, but hey, who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, the other part of that is they certainly are, and like above and beyond. Um, but how's your bye week?
It was all right. To be honest with you, I struggled to watch college football. I was home in Connecticut, spent some time outside with the family. Wasn't really locked in on college football, and then my mom wanted to watch the Missouri Vandy game, and I was like, just like Bo, he's playing awesome, like great, and then he got hurt, so that sucked to see. And then South Carolina really held their own against Bama, but it's kind of depressing, but it just kind of upset me to watch other teams have success, I guess. And it just made me mad to think, even like without the Missouri Bow thing, just seeing Bama, you know, beat at South Carolina, Indiana rolled UCLA. And Penn State's just 3-4. So my bye week wasn't great. That was yours.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch. I think I watched maybe some of the LSU game at night
Yeah.
when I got home, but I got out of Dodge, man. I skipped town. I went down to Shenandoah National Park Friday night, just did a night of camping, and then hiked Saturday morning. Um, Felt good to just not have football to worry about. I just didn't have cell service, so I couldn't even, if I wanted to, really see what was happening. So,
Beautiful.
um, it's kind of just how the season's going at this point. And then Sunday, yeah, our professional teams played. That was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Good win for the Eagles. I mean, the Giants haven't, swept a regular season against the Eagles, I think, in like 17 years. So, but not an NFL show, so we don't have to get into that. It looked like you had fun at
No.
the lake. So anyway, though, yeah, honestly, it was an okay bye week, but genuinely, I had trouble watching, knowing the year that Penn State is having. But I still wanted to watch them. I just need to see their jerseys on my television because I like how it looks. And that's really all that's all that this season is kind of coming down to. Let's just have fun watching our team. I think that is where we stand right now. I think that's nothing new. But yeah, man, this bye week ends, and now it's like really like the Iowa game was Terry's first test, and then the bye week, I think he and even the fan base maybe collectively caught a breath, maybe even did some more processing of the James news. But now, Penn State's 3-4, 5 games left on the schedule here through Thanksgiving, and it's just going to be a really, really interesting time on the field to see how they respond, and then obviously off the field, it doesn't even really need to be said, but just a crazy time.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a sprint towards bowl eligibility now. Like if they can get it, I mean, gotta. So I mean, yeah, they can only afford 2 more losses then. Which this is kind of an interesting wrinkle, but you think the extra practices from becoming bowl eligible would be helpful if they hired a new head coach between now and then.
Wow.
You would
I
think, right?
that at all. Great.
Because if they don't make a bowl, it's just
Really?
Rutgers games happens and then players go home and like that's it.
That's
But
fascinating.
yeah,
Fascinating.
because I think about the Outback Bowl in 2021 when Manny Diaz just like came,
Yeah.
like because he had been hired to be the DC and he just showed up just to like fire the guys up. Like I don't know if they hire a new coach by then, you would expect him to be in the mix, right?
Did they do the same thing with Kotelnicki with the Peach Bowl, or am I making that up? I think they did that with another coach that sort of just was there and just hung out because Sider and Howell were calling plays at that point. That was Drew's first year as a starter. I could be making that up, but thinking about Diaz. But yeah, man, the super interesting point I hadn't thought about. Make a push for the Pinstripe Bowl.
Yeah, something.
Get somebody in the house. Yeah, that's a super interesting angle I hadn't thought about. But yeah, I think we can get right into it. I mean, this is really going to be the hot topic now for 6 to 8 more weeks, which is just still so crazy that we're here. But um, a lot of names still flying around in terms of who Penn State might hire. I feel like it's been the Brian Hartline week, excuse me, so far. Ohio State's current offensive coordinator, former Ohio State wide receiver, former Miami Dolphins wide receiver. I feel like he's been getting a lot of traction this week on just like general reports. I saw a screenshot today of a flight from Columbus State College, but Landon Tangwall tweeted this week like that stuff really is not real. Yeah, totally agree. But critical thinking kind of goes out the window in these times. People grab onto anything, flight logs, rumors. Oh, I saw Brian Hartline at the tavern, like stuff,
Yeah.
not that, but like stuff, which is kind of fun. Like it's fun to chase rumors and not the kind of fun I was hoping to have this year, but alas. So anyway, so I'm rambling, but yeah, I feel like it's been the Heartline week.
Yeah. What me not watching college football on Saturday, I felt like I missed more coaching rumors than I did like actual game results. It's like you feel like if you get offline for a day, you have to catch up on who the newest person who's going to be Penn State's next head coach is. Um,
Crazy.
there's rumors flying around now that Rule is going to get an extension at Nebraska, so he's kind of halfway out the door. It feels like, and then I mean the other thing is just all these other jobs opening up that on paper are better jobs than Penn State, or maybe not on paper, but just, you know, a lot of media members are pegging the LSU and the Florida jobs above Penn State, which maybe is fair, but it's just another wrinkle here where it's just going to get even more interesting.
So funny though when a reporter ranking, job like the job rank, the only job ranking that matters is the job ranking of the guy that Penn State is trying to hire. I mean, Penn State, LSU, and Florida. I think I would say they're really all the same. Like it just depends on the fit from the coach's
The
perspective.
fit is the big thing, yeah.
I don't think like let's say Urban Meyer, not even if he's a real candidate, but if he's like, oh, objectively LSU is a better job than Penn State. Like you can't really when you get to that level, you can't really speak about it objectively. So I think those rankings are kind of stupid. I do think the problem, though, lies in the fact that LSU and Florida are open because they're equal to Penn State. They're on the same tier. So by definition, Penn State's competing with two other really, really high level, maybe not recently, but blue blood programs in terms of the history they have and the pedigree they have. Even a job like Arkansas opening up an attractive position. You always hear about how much money they spend with, Walmart and Jerry Jones in the mix. And I off the top of my head, I know there are several others, but
Tech too.
yeah, thank you. Virginia Tech, obviously. I think James is even rumored there.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, I think it is potentially opening up, despite the athletic director over there put out a statement last week about them standing behind Luke Fickell. I don't really know how you can stand behind him at this point, but so ricochet shot at Luke Fickell, but so just a lot to sift through. And it's the Wall Street Journal, Jason Gay, who's a reporter I really like over there, wrote a great story about how just everybody's getting fired. And it feels like one of the biggest kind of coaching shift years I can remember in recent memory. I'm sure there are others, but this feels like a crazy one.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like that. It was whatever the year was that Lane went to Ole Miss, and I think Brian Kelly might have went to LSU. It might have been 2021. But I mean, this is even crazier because of how much is happening during the season. So I can't even wrap my head around when all of this stuff will be settled because so many teams are in the mix. And, if Joe Brady's going to be in the mix for some of these jobs, the Bills are going to be in the playoffs. So, like, it's messy. It's going to be messy.
Yeah, and then you think about how Penn State reacts. Like, if LSU makes an aggressive hire and inks a guy and Pat still hasn't, is that like, okay, there's a run on coaches now. Like, we got to find somebody now. Like, I'd hope that doesn't impact Penn State's approach. Like, get your guy, make sure, you're comfortable with him, have dinner with him. But, like, it's hard to say that isn't going to impact. Like, if you're
No, yeah.
the trustees breathing down your neck and, LSU just signed this guy for X amount of years, what are you doing? Like, there's pressure from that way, too. So it's going to be a crazy few weeks. Like, really, I think Halloween ends, like the Ohio State game ends, and then obviously we still have Indiana, whatever, but it's going to be a crazy sprint, like, to Christmas. There's going to be so much that happens, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, the other part of that is, like, if there's reports that Penn State took a swing at Marcus Freeman or Kalen DeBoer, and they said no. And then next thing you know, LSU hires Marcus Freeman. It's like, okay, that's kind of bad for the Penn State brand. Or it's like, oh, could Pat not go out and get Marcus if he just went to LSU or something? So it's tricky. And to me, this kind of feels more like it's trending towards the path where Penn State hires someone without head coaching experience,
I
right
know.
or wrong. That just kind of feels like where it's heading, especially with these Heartline rumors coming out. Um, I think guys like Drinkowitz are still squarely in the mix, but bad, bad timing. And Penn State got the jump on hiring James, but I don't think that's going to matter.
And who knows if they do need a guy with head coaching experience. I think I on the record said I prefer that personally. Um, I feel like Penn State would prefer that. I think based on what we know about the board of trustees, how Pat Kraft operates, um, I think you'd want a guy with head coaching experience. But yeah, man, the options might be limited here. Um, and also, like, do you go? How much do you value all right head coaching experience to really, really dominant coordinator experience? And like, where does that level out? Like, obviously, you can't, if you're extremely successful as an OC, that doesn't necessarily translate to head coaching experience. But so the safer option might be the more, average or still unproven head coach. It's just, there's a million mental gymnastics that you could work through. Um, but yeah, Heartline would be awesome. Just to throw out another name, Bob Chesney randomly getting love. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I does not feel realistic to me at all. Again, this is just rumors, but he's from Pennsylvania, went to Dickinson, and he's currently the JMU coach. I kind of love everything about him. I love
Yeah,
from Penn State, Pennsylvania. I like the Dickinson angle, but the JMU thing, it feel like we're just forcing a Signetti thing and like kind of copy,
yeah,
which I think is the automatic response, and I think that's fair.
yeah. It would be the same as like hiring um, Clark Leah from Vandy. It's like, oh, we're just spamming the Vanderbilt button, and then it's the same thing. It's like, oh, you're just spamming the JMU coach button. I guess it's all just optics stuff. Like, if he's a good fit, that's fine. To me, it just feels like whoever Pat Kraft has a beer with, and it's just like, yeah, this is the guy. I feel like it's gonna come down to fit and PA connections or recruiting Northeast connections more than anything. Um, but I mean, we don't know. We're just firing shots in the dark here.
Yeah, I think that, and to go deeper into the vibes thing, like alignment with alignment with Pat's more maybe modern approach to NIL than even James had, or the transfer portal. I know you had mentioned there was, um, maybe it was you. I think there was rumor that, or another Penn State podcaster, there was rumor that Pat kind of had to push James to get Pena in the transfer portal, and so stuff like that. That Pat maybe would be like, I don't want to have to do that. Like, I need you to rely on that. So, or I need to rely on you for that. So a million factors. I'm starting to even think about the general manager possibility. I don't think we're
I
there
was about
yet.
to say that. Yeah,
I think that has to be on the table, right? I don't know.
yeah. I mean, that's like you think about Signetti, where he's kind of just a overarching puppet master guy, and then you have a GM getting in the mud every day. I it seems like it feels to me that James could have benefited from having a GM, and it feels like that's just the way the industry is going, and it could be a situation where Penn State in a few years is like, wait, why did we wait so long to do this? So yeah, I don't know if you want a coach to bring over a guy he likes, or if it's a 1-2 hiring punch, but yeah, I mean, all this just goes to show how much of a kind of a mess it is.
Yeah, I feel like ultimately that we talked about that being James's downfall, like the micromanagement and not delegating properly. And it's really two jobs, recruiting and just coaching a football team. You're busier than an NFL coach in a lot of ways. I think Andy Frank, I think, was James's chief of staff who he's rolled with. But to my knowledge, Andy didn't do recruiting stuff. So again, I think other than chief of staff, the general manager position, it makes so much sense. I think you see teams do it, and it's just kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. Like Andrew Luck is doing it for Stanford. Um, there's other guys out there that have been talked about doing it. Waj is doing it for St. Bonaventure basketball. It's a real. I mean, it's a position that could
Yeah,
be widespread in like 10 years. So if Pat is about being ahead of the curve, then imagine they come out with a press release and it's, Penn State hires Brian Hartline and brings in like Brian Hartline's NFL buddy to, be a general manager and manage recruiting and off like that'd be pretty cool. I have no
Yeah,
idea that's on the table, but I think it should be.
100%. And I mean, for as much credit as people, ourselves included, gave James for being a good recruiter, I mean, the numbers don't really back it up. Like if you look at it, I mean, some of his classes in recent years have been okay. I mean, you can count the 5 stars he landed on one hand, I think. And yeah, it feels more and more like he could have benefited from having someone manage that aspect of things. And yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, it's two separate things, like coaching and recruiting. It's two separate jobs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like um that felt like something you could fall back on. Like, oh, he's a good recruiter, and like he recruited a lot of guys. He got Saquon. I think he deserves a lot of credit for, especially early on, maybe re-dominating Penn State's backyard, being obviously the state of Pennsylvania. I think New Jersey, DMV, like Virginia area, guys like Jahan Dotson who are local. But that even started to slip. Like the Pennsylvania local, like guys were out leaving the state a lot. Penn State didn't initially get Nolan Ruch, right? He went to Wisconsin, and obviously they eventually got him. But he was like the man in Pennsylvania, and Penn State didn't get him.
and that run Notre Dame made this summer on like Joey O'Brien and a handful of other guys, like all in a week, was pretty embarrassing for James, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, um, so yeah, you think like he was slipping in that department too. It's like, geez, and you got to think Pat was probably considering that when he made the decision too. Like, I do not think it was just the Northwestern game. I think the Northwestern game was certainly the nail in the coffin, but recruiting slipping, it's like, why are we, keeping this guy around? So anyway, that just points to how much the job has changed and how much the job still will change. And, Pat can add that to his plate of what to consider here in getting the right guy. Um, Joe Brady is still getting love. We're just naming guys. What do you think about that?
Sure. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it's all the connections are there. Like, you love the PA and the Penn State connection. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'd almost would rather take someone that was a current college football coordinator than an NFL coordinator, just because they're more in the mix of the NIL transfer portal recruiting stuff, where Brady might be a little bit of a fish out of water there, spending a few years in the NFL, but you would also think he would be someone who could probably bring in a pretty well-connected GM as well. So I'm not going to pretend I've watched a lot of Bills film this year, so I don't. I wouldn't be upset with the hire. I would be pretty content to happy, I think.
Do you imagine yourself being upset with any of the hires? I don't. I don't think.
I'd set a rule, no, and even then I could probably talk myself into it eventually. Urban would obviously be a tough pill to swallow, but I think we'd get pretty fired up about it pretty fast. But yeah, I mean, all the names getting thrown around are like, it's hard. Like outside of Marcus Freeman or like Dan Lanning or Kalen DeBoer, that's like the tier of like, oh my god, how did Pat get this guy? Anyone below there that's currently being mentioned seems solid.
I mean, logistically, that's not happening. Like the coaches that are now stud head coaches are not just going to go to Penn State. Like I think that's really or they're not just going to go to Penn State. Like that's the mental turn I think fans have to make. Like I think Pat Kraft is going to have to take a gamble on a guy. And I wasn't saying this last week, but I like if all the good coaches are in the playoff, you can't wait until January to bring your head coach in, right? So like it's going to have to be Penn State taking a gamble on a guy, going and getting a coordinator, going and getting a lesser known guy like a Chesney. Like I think that is what this category is going to be, and I don't think it's going to be a celebrity coach either. I don't think that's like a Gruden or a Meyer. I
No.
don't feel like that's happening unless that I'll eat crow if that starts to pick up steam. But anyway, man, just a crazy turn of events we're facing right now that are still to come as crazy as the season has already been. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean it's gonna be like a all eyes on Brian Hartline situation, I think, on Saturday, with people. I think if Ohio State's offense looks a little unprepared, it's gonna be a pretty easy narrative just to be like he's focused on the Penn State job. So it's interesting timing with them playing, and then yeah, it's. I mean, should we get into that now? Like
Yeah. Take it
that's
easy,
the game.
bro. Take it easy on us, bro. Come on, dog. Take it easy. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're coming here next year, and you know that already, just like, I don't know. You might as well get a win on the schedule, or like,
Little Mo that you could point to. Like, hey, we beat these
yeah.
last year. Um, yeah, man, I'm nervous about the game, even though there's really nothing to lose at this point. But I just don't want that. They fought so hard in the Iowa game. I don't think this is going to happen, but I think my worry is just the energy that Terry carried into the Iowa game. If he's going to be able to revive that and get the guys up for Ohio State, I don't think that'll be a problem. But I think that's where my nervousness lies.
Yeah. This game could get out of hand very fast if Penn State isn't like locked in from the get go. I mean, the numbers are pretty damning. Like
Yeah,
like it's
yeah, they're really good.
Ohio State is clearly the best team in the country,
Yeah,
and I mean, the best team in the country. That doesn't mean that they can't lose a one-off game. I mean, they did it to Michigan last year, but I mean, this point spread, what is it up to? I think maybe even 21 points now. Um, it's the biggest number Penn State has been an underdog by since 2011, or I'm sorry, 2013 Wisconsin, which when it was 24 points, which Penn State did win that game. Bill O'Brien did win that game, and I think he was pretty pissed off about the spread afterwards. Um, yeah, I think biggest Ohio State spread since either 2019 or 2021. I think they're both 18 and a half. No one's picking Penn State.
no, and I don't think they should be logically. I think that's fair. But college football is where logic goes to die.
Yeah,
It is. Like if you're Terry Smith, you just have to. That has to be the message, right? Like, guys, there is nothing to lose here. The Penn State is still a talented football team. They have guys that are good at football. So he's just got to find a way to get it out of them, and you know, at the very least, let's have some dignity here in Columbus. Like, let's be Penn Staters. Like, we're not just going to
yeah.
get over by Ohio State. From a fan perspective, let's have a good showing. Let's be loud. It's just, yeah, man, they're an intimidating team, and that is the truth. But if
If
F
I
it,
mean, what I keep coming back to thinking is like, this team has good bones. Like the team that was picked by so many to win the national championship before the year is still there. I mean, obviously Drew is hurt, and obviously a lot of players have regressed. I mean, I'm worried about the secondary. I'm worried about AJ Harris and like his seeming lack of focus, and how Ohio State's three-headed monster is going to fare against that. But
yeah,
at the same time, it's like, geez, man. I mean, Ryan Day's been known to drop a lot of bullshit games, and if they're overlooking Penn State, and this is a game, honestly, they can afford to lose, which is crazy saying. Like, they don't need to win this game to make the playoff. They don't need to win this game to win the national championship. Penn State doesn't need to do, like, this doesn't mean anything outside of pride and just um, trying to leave some sort of positive mark on the season. And you would hope that's the message Terry has, where it's like, we've given the fans nothing this year. We've given the donors nothing this year. Like, this would be this would almost cancel everything else out in a way, if they were able to pull this off for the first time since 2016. We don't see them next year, so like, this is the chance to do it. It'll officially be 10 years if we don't beat them this year. So it feels like now or never a little bit.
yeah, and if we want to get into it, I mean, it's you said it, but it's a lot of guys we know on the defensive side of the ball. Caleb Downs at safety, Sonny Styles. I feel like he's been at Ohio State for like a decade. Linebacker. They're just a really, really well-rounded team. They just are. I think the other thing on offense is Jeremiah Smith is getting all the love. I feel like every year Penn State gets killed by like the number 2 or 3 guy because everything is going towards the number 1 guy on offense. So Carnell Tate and Brandon Innes are also, NFL caliber wide receivers. So, get to know those names too. I think like if you're Terry Smith, and not to get too deep into X's and O's, but like those guys are probably going to get theirs. So you're going to have to find a way to survive it. For me, and they got this against Iowa, I think they need either, and this is a cliche, but like Penn State needs either a defensive or a special teams touchdown, I think. And I keep going back to this, and this is really specific. In order to win, I think the team needs to see Nick Singleton get an explosive run. I think it is the other than the Drew Aller injury, and that was just shocking. I think other than that, it is the most like for a team depressing thing to see this guy who has just been so talented. And Katron Allen has been great, but Singleton, like, I mean, he was just known for since his freshman year, breaking off huge runs, even when he's having slow days, like taking the top off the defense, the opposing defense. Um, I know I feel like I'm obsessed with it and I'm obsessed with seeing it happen. And I'm not saying they need to force him the ball. I just feel like to get their swagger back a little bit, that's just something they need to see.
Yeah, I mean, if he were to able to break one off early, that would just be such a big tone setter, and especially for the offense who has not seen it happen all year. I was watching a lot of the tape from the 2011 Ohio State game, which is the last time Penn State has won at the shoe.
Yeah.
Also, there was an interim head coach. Silas Red was just running all over that defense in the first half, and I kind of just had that thought in the back of my head. I was like, why can't Nick break one like this?
Silas Red, Norwalk, Connecticut native. Really, really good guy, actually. Um, yeah, no, man, I agree. Like I feel like I'm obsessed with it, maybe because I like Nick, like on a personal level. I think he's such a cool guy. I think he's been a great ambassador for the school. I think Katron has been too, honestly. Um, it's just one you want to see. It's just one you want to see. And I think in order to, uh, the next guy we can go into is Grunk, but in order to support him, the run game has to be there. And it was last week with Katron, but two-headed monster wouldn't hurt either.
Yeah, I mean, they just have not been ham and egging it at all this year. Like the run game hasn't been getting going, which has prevented the pass game from getting going, and then it's just like a spiral of death from there. Penn State's passing in the first half all year has just been terrible. I don't think they've cracked 100 yards once. I don't think they've cracked. I think 70 was the number in the first half all year. So I mean, if they want to hang with Ohio State at all, like if they want to be in a chance where a special teams play or a huge defensive stop gets you to a point where you could win the game, they got to come out strong. Andy and Terry hid the offense from the media the past 2 weeks, which is like, you got to hope they're installing some sort of opening drive or opening script that can get them 7 points. I mean, the 2011 game, it was the same way. They went touchdown, field goal, touchdown. And I mean, if you have a bye week to prepare and you have another week or 2 weeks to get Grunk reps as the starter, you got to hope they have some sort of plan to get points on the board early and give them some sort of fighting chance. Because like we keep saying, like the team is in there. Like I feel like you just gotta like, it's a block of marble, and we gotta chisel out the statue that is like the good offense that's in there somewhere.
I am totally with you, bro. This fast start thing, and of course, I'll be screaming all game. You do feel like if that um if that first drive looks abysmal on Penn State's side, that does say a lot about the game. I think you hate to just make an conclusion so early in a football game, but you do. I'm so with you on the fast start thing. Like they gotta show something in terms of like how frustrated people have been with the lack of preparation, with the slow starts. Notably the Oregon game, notably the UCLA game. Um, they got to come out and show something quick. I think they did it against Iowa. Zaki made an incredible interception and then they punched it in. Obviously, game didn't end how we wanted, but making a play like that, I think being the aggressor, which another James fault, I think it felt like he never really was in these big games. Be the aggressor. Make the aggressive play. Do an onside kick. Run engaging. Like I don't know. Like just do
Do
things.
something crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%. Um, how do you feel about like what do you expect to see from Grunk, and how do you expect them to like program him?
Um, it's interesting. I thought he played a lot better than like his stat line would suggest against Iowa. I don't know. They mentioned, I think Terry mentioned this week or last week, trying to make the offense more vertical. So I think they really are going to try to lean into the pass game early, especially with Kobe Howard now potentially breaking out, digging deep and maybe getting Tysier Denmark involved. I see them really trying to attack Ohio State's defense vertically early on. And whether or not that works, I guess we'll kind of figure out how the game goes. But that's kind of my prediction. And like you just mentioned, James's MO for so long, and we've criticized for this, has been turning these games into rock fights and playing defense essentially. I don't know if it would behoove Penn State to get into a rock fight in this game or not, but it does feel like they're going to come out and try to deliver a punch in the face a little bit.
Yeah. No, you gotta hope so. I think aside from the off, you need luck, and I think aside from the offensive plan you're outlining, and I think being aggressive with Gronk, they do need a couple things to go their way. I think in the form of defense or special teams, and but maybe also a missed assignment on Ohio State's defense or something
Which feels like it's never happened.
right.
Like,
The problem, like things like that, a guy breaking free, Kobe Howard, running free. I also, this isn't really a good segue, but I also just wanted to mention, I feel like along with the Singleton thing that I brought up, I got to see a tight end play well. We've seen flashes from pretty much everyone. I feel like, I'd love to see Dinkins, like the veteran tight end. Let's feed him the rock. I don't know. I'm kind of just speaking randomly here, but and obviously they missed Tyler Warren a lot. I said on last week's episode, the Iowa game, Warren would have had like 25 touches.
you
But
know what?
sorry, go ahead.
Is he the best tight end like of all time? I mean, look at look at how good the Colts offense is this year out of nowhere with Daniel Jones. I was thinking about that. Like Penn State lost him and the Colts gained him, and both teams have just gone in opposite trajectories.
And Jonathan Taylor is an MVP candidate, right? Like
Yeah,
I think he's just such a freak of nature athletically. He blocks well. He does pretty much everything right from my perspective, it seems like. So yeah, maybe he is. Maybe he's like Gronk or Tony Gonzalez or honestly, he really is unreal. But anyway, Penn State has been outside of Warren. Penn State has been such a tight end driven offense. Brenton Strange, Theo Johnson, Pat Fryermuth, Mike Gesicki, even Adam Brenneman, or Jesse James. That's 7 NFL caliber guys that have come through Penn State in the past 10 years. And Rapplier, and it was kind of the point you and I were both making, that there's talent inside this team. I know there is talent in each of these tight ends. Like Reynolds, Rapplier, and Dinkins have done good things. So maybe they'll be more a part of the offense. I mean, who really knows? Not like getting direct snaps like Tyler Warren would be, but just on my sort of grocery list of what would be fun to see against Ohio State, it'd be cool to see them more involved or running all three of them on the field at the same time. Who knows?
yeah. I mean, you said not under center, but maybe it would be a good idea to get more gadget plays involved. This is truly nothing Terry or Andy can do will save them their job or get them a new job or really anything. So it's like, I don't know, maybe just throw the kitchen sink at them. Like we saw Oregon run an onside kick on the first play of the game against Wisconsin last week, and it just worked. I don't know, do some shit like that maybe. Like maybe Reynolds can get under center, run wildcat. Like we don't know, and they haven't shown it yet. But we didn't see Smolik in the game until the Iowa game. So maybe they do have something crazy up their sleeve.
Yeah. From a starting fast perspective, do you think? Because I was just thinking about silencing the crowd. Do you think the crowd will already be a little bit more subdued because Penn State is not even ranked? Like, do you think the crowd will be more quiet than they would be otherwise?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's like a blackout. I don't even think that's gonna look good at noon. And I feel like their fans are kind of just tired of getting big noon slop Big Ten games, that this isn't even really one to get up for anymore. Which, I mean, I don't know what other teams they've played at home this year. I guess this probably was the biggest game of the year at the beginning. Yeah, I feel like it's not going to be a major factor. I felt like in 2021 it kind of was at night. I just remember watching them come out of the tunnel with the fire and like the red over the stadium, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I feel like I just went to hell, and I'm in for 3 hours with the devil. But I don't know if it's going to be the same vibe on
You went to
Saturday.
Columbus. You went to Columbus, Ohio, so you kind of did go to hell.
Yeah, like maybe worse.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think it will be. I think, to answer my own question too, I agree. I think it'll be a little quieter. I think Ohio State fans hate Penn State so much. I really do think so. So I think it still will be a pretty electric crowd. but really not one of the louder Big Ten crowds I've been to, honestly. I think
Yep.
Iowa blows them out of the water. Well, I'm not just saying that. I mean, I don't like Ohio State, but I really do. I think their fans, like Nick Saban spoke about this several years ago about Alabama. I think they're just used to winning, so they're not a very loud crowd. I think Iowa was nuts when you and I went in 2021, and I'm bringing this up because we have a young quarterback starting. This is only his second start. I think a noon Ohio State kickoff will feel much more subdued than a hostile Kinnick crowd at 7 p.m. in Iowa City.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I don't think that will be a factor at all for Grunk. The other, I guess, thing to factor in with him is his Ohio roots. He said today he grew up 20 minutes from the stadium. Him and Drew both from the area. You got to think that means a little bit of something.
I love it, man. Yeah, I forgot Gronk is an Ohio guy too. Also, Brad Medler guys. And Drew came up the same way. Yeah, he'll probably have a ton of family in attendance. Honestly, in terms of just backing Gronk, I agree with you on the stat line not showing everything. I think there were plays he had happy feet. He looked nervous against Iowa, which is understandable. I also thought he delivered a couple of really nice throws. Thought he looked smooth in the pocket. So who knows, man? I mean, Ohio State also does not have a lot of tape to work off of. So
Yeah.
sure they're watching Iowa tape from the Iowa game very closely to see how they can get after Grunk. I think they will get after him successfully a couple times for sure. But yeah, I think he's going to be a huge storyline going into this game, and if Penn State wins, I think he's going to have to be a big part of the storyline after, along with who we've talked about in Singleton, potential turnover. I think the tight ends. Um, Anybody on defense that you're particularly looking for a stud performance from? I know you mentioned the secondary, but
I mean, Zaki's having a hell of a year quietly. I would love to see him continue that. I don't know. You would hope someone on the defensive line would step up and make a few good plays, whether that's sacking Sayan or just eliminating their run game early on. But it's hard to really expect anything from anyone at this point. And I feel like as good as DDS is, he's just struggled to have a big splash play this year. A part of that, I think, is because he's been the victim of a lot of holding calls that have been missed, potentially chronically. So if he were to break out, now would be a good time, especially if he's thinking about his future in the NFL. Like, there are going to be more eyes on this game. So I don't know. Is there anyone you had in mind?
DDS for sure. Yeah, I agree. He's got like the Abdul Carter thing going. I feel like he gets held all the time. I think that's partially because we are watching him closely because he's the best player on defense. But I do think there's certainly truth to him, drawing holding calls and them not getting thrown. Zane Durant, man. Why don't I don't like I think he was one guy who was talked about as a first round pick after this year. I don't think he's been bad this year. There's been several plays where he's completely bullied the offensive lineman off the ball. And just the lack of the unit playing cohesively, it didn't really matter. But if the unit can play a little bit more cohesively on Saturday, I'd love to see him have a day. Another one where it's like he has this inside of him. The talent, stacking ability, especially for a D tackle, is pretty incredible. And then obviously the run stopping ability. Um, I'd love to see him play well and get after saying as a young, relatively inexperienced quarterback too. So rattle his cage a little bit. Uh, yeah, he's one that came to mind for me. I think. Unfortunately, though, we're the groups we talked about, the secondary and the defensive linemen, are kind of going to have to pick up the slack from the linebackers. Hate to say that, but I saw something today about the snap share is just crazy at that position, and I think a lot of guys are getting more playing time than Knowles and the team had hoped.
Yeah, it's a little ugly. Um, I guess speaking of ugly, like we talked about a little bit earlier about how in the past James would make this game a bit of a rock fight. I think last year was 20-14, the year before was 20-13 was the final score. Do you think that is a good idea this year, given just like Penn State limiting themselves getting blown out, or do you think it's kind of all chips on the table, like let's win or let's lose by 30 points?
I don't think they can because their defense hasn't, proven that. I think last year the defense proved they could hang with anybody. Um, I don't think this defense can be relied upon to stop these wide receivers and Sayin and this attack. Um, so no, I don't think really on any front they can play conservatively at all. I
They
think
might not have a choice.
they're not going to have a choice. I think hopefully Penn State gets the ball first and they score right away. That'd be cool. But it's going to be a tall task to stop Ohio State at all. I think if Penn State wins, it's going to be a fairly high scoring game, which is kind of weird to say because I don't know how the offense is going to get going. It's I don't know what the over under is right
But
now.
they kind of did against Iowa, like
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think Iowa's defense is that like much worse than Ohio State's. It it's so weird. I just still can't really get a read, and part of it is just because Grunk is in now. But it did feel like in a way, I trusted them to score last or against Iowa. It felt like something maybe did change where they were playing a little bit more free, or I don't know. It. Do you agree with me? Like, do you think there was a little bit of a shift,
yeah. I
or
think
did they
I mean
just look,
Kiefer
were they
Allen
just
played
bad?
awesome. I think they leaned on him
Yeah,
quite a bit. They still could. I didn't think there was a consistent enough passing game at all in terms of like moving the ball downfield that way, which is certainly a concern. But yeah, I mean, I give Katron Allen the ball as much as you can. I think until these other guys that we've mentioned prove like if they start to look good, if Singleton looks like he's got a pep in his step and the first carry he looks nice, mix him in more, but it's got to be a Katron Allen starring role day. Um, Obviously others are going to need to support him. I think against Iowa, that's not what happened. Like Katron made the offense look good, and um, the passing game wasn't really there either. So it's simply going to have to show up in order to keep up with Ohio State. But yeah, I don't disagree. I think they did some good things against Iowa that they could go on. I don't think that's unfair to say at all.
yeah. Do you think there's going to be an influx in gadget plays? Like, I just feel like maybe with James gone and
Yeah,
Knowles or Koronaki shutting down the offensive practice to the media, he might have some weird stuff prepared because he might feel like he needs to do weird stuff.
sure. Yeah,
I
certainly,
mean,
it's definitely possible. I hope it's not involving Smolik. Um,
I think he's potentially out,
yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
which
So
is bad.
yeah, not great. Not great. If Grunt gets hurt, we're on to Beckham Kritza, right? So that is a
I
problem.
mean, he's as raw as a true freshman can get. Like, it would be, you might just have to run like Katron on the Wildcat at that point, like Christian McCaffrey in the 2023 NFC Championship game.
Let's do Singleton, Katron in the backfield together on Wildcat a couple times. I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what breaks Nick free.
like read option with the Nick and
Yeah.
Katron.
Maybe that's what frees him. Um, who knows, man? But yeah, I would agree. Gadget plays stuff we haven't seen before. They kept doing that motion, like the orbit motion with Nick out of under center several times against Iowa, which I didn't hate. Um, who knows, man? But yes, to answer your question, I would think there's a lot of goofiness happening on offense against Ohio State and stuff that we have not seen yet.
Yeah, so it could get embarrassing or it could be clever. It's hard to convince ourselves that this is gonna be a good game, but like I think it's what we've laid out so far. It's like you get out fast and get yourself in a position where you are one or two crazy plays away from hanging with them. Um, or maybe you just wake up. Like maybe you just log in. Like Knowles, we haven't talked about this yet, but like his Ohio State connection is it means something. Like he was in the building last year. Like Ryan Day is still the coach, and I don't know if they've dumbed down his defense a little bit because that's been kind of beaten to death how complex it is. Like maybe something starts going in the right direction this week. Um, it's hard to say he's going to be motivated to make that happen, but like there's a lot of factors at play that like if some things start coming together, like this could easily turn into a classic Penn State Ohio State game where it's a one score affair by the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then you got to feel good. Then it's like
Yeah, you got to feel really good.
it's a roll of the dice if you're close at the end. So, um, Terry Smith has a chance to be a Penn State legend on Saturday. Ethan Grunkenmeyer has a chance to be a Penn State legend on Saturday. I think for a lot of the reasons we didn't anticipate, but they do. This is a massive, massive game. I think for the fan base. I don't think I can overstate how much of a release and how good it would feel for the fan base to just beat Ohio State after everything the fan base has been through this past month. Um, yeah, I think we've said enough. I feel like we've said enough about it. I think they're going to need some luck, and they're going to need to play their best game of the season by far. So, yeah,
Yeah, we just needed a series of impossible events to happen in concession, and then we'll be good.
that sort of feels like the roadmap, man. It's they're an intimidating team, but you and I are going, as is Gabe and Jerry. Um, I will convince myself in my heart that Penn State is going to win the game by Saturday morning.
Yeah, I'm almost there already. Like I think we're talking very logically right now, but what are you telling yourself like emotionally that makes you think they're gonna win?
Makes me, well, just that we're there. I'm earning it. No, I mean, I don't know, man. It just, it feel like it's college football. Like I said earlier, like you throw logic out the window. Um, it would just be the ultimate. Sometimes things just happen and they're so funny. And James getting fired and Penn State finally beating Ohio State right after that would just be funny. And I think sometimes things happen that way. So that is sort of what I'm telling myself. Aside from, the famous Wisconsin win with Bill O'Brien, obviously the Tom Bradley Ohio State win. That was a much less talented Ohio State team and not a national title contender. Um, but there are, yes, that like those are kind of the types of things I'm thinking about. What about you?
Yeah, I think Penn State will be kind of a trendy betting pick this week, just because people are just gonna say like, "Oh, this would be the funniest thing ever." Um, yeah, there's potential for there to be a lot of blood in the water. Like I think Terry mentioned that Drew's back with the team. Like having him on the sideline, back in the shoe where he's from, I think would be a bit of a boost for the team. Gronk being from Ohio, Knowles with the connection. Um, and then yeah, just the things we mentioned before, where Penn State hasn't won in the shoe since there's been an interim coach, and the last time they were this big of an underdog, they pulled it off. So, and part of me is also just like Ohio State doesn't need this game. Like they lost to Michigan last year on a BS game to a bad team, and it didn't matter. And I don't think Penn State is nearly as important to them as Michigan. So part of me thinks they might just overlook it a little bit too. And
Yeah.
part of me is like maybe they'll just let Penn State win.
They're not going to. I think Ohio State really does not like Penn State.
Yeah, they actually they don't, but I think the rivalry is actually like pretty
They,
intense.
they don't like us. We don't like them. I do not. I hate Ohio State. I don't like anything about it. Um, I've been in Columbus twice. It's not a cool place. I really, yeah, man. I want to beat them so bad. Like I can't. We get into like this now. Like I want them to win so bad. Like we need this one. So
Th- I
yeah.
mean, this would save the season. Like it actually would. Would you feel like net zero on the season if they won this game? Like
No,
obviously taking James getting fired, like James being fired would have happened regardless.
right. I think maybe. I think it would be net like back to even because a win on Saturday would be unlike anything I felt as a Penn State fan since 2016. Like even the big quote like the playoff wins. Come on, I don't know. It was Boise State and SMU. Like we can be real about that now. The guy got fired. Like there weren't that many actually big wins. There weren't. A win here, and they could just lose by 40. Like that's on the table too. That would really suck. I think at the very least, I do think they're going to play their asses off, and I think they may play them close. I think they know this team really well. Um, and I just think Terry seems to be a really, really good motivator of these guys. And I think that's what they need right now.
Yeah, and I mean even in 2019 and 2021 when they were these huge underdogs, they were freaking in it, man. And I mean there was one John Levitt toe away from maybe getting out of there with a win in 2021, and the Will Levis stuff. I mean that was an example of a lot of weird plays going their way with the Lamont Wade fumble recovery. I mean, if stuff like that starts happening this Saturday and things start going their way, I mean, I'm going into the shoe ready for war. So hopefully it's not a blowout, but like I'm fully expecting this to be a game at least come halftime.
100%. 100%. We will, we'll tap in from Twitter. We got boots on the ground. We'll be, I think, on the flagpole side of the stadium. Third time's a charm. That's the other thing. This is my third time there. What's your score prediction?
Uh,
Let's jump into it. Sorry.
like real or like actual.
What did he say? Head and heart?
Yeah, head and heart. I think my head is like set Penn State, 17 Ohio State, like 35, and then my heart is like 7-0 Penn State.
Yeah. No, I like that. That'd be awesome.
Six four.
I think my head. I don't even know. I don't even want to do this. I thought about it, but I don't want to. Penn
I think
State.
like 2 touchdowns is the max.
Yeah. Give me Penn State 30. This is my heart pick. Penn State 30. Ohio State 22 because of a Grunk safety at some point, and we think it's devastating, but it's not that big a deal.
Okay.
Uh, Ohio State, 38. Penn State like 14.
Yeah.
Honestly,
If it's like a 21-0 situation, that's just gonna like be really bad.
yeah, it will be. That'd be really bad.
All right. I mean,
Let's shock the world, man.
let's go to war, I guess. Like I don't think there's anything we can say here that's gonna convince anyone that they're gonna win or put any logic to any of this. It's basically we're just saying something could be in the air, and it feels like there is a little bit, but we're just gonna wake up Saturday and see what the vibe is.
Dude, be a Penn Stater on Saturday. Like it's a noon kick. Like wake up on Saturday morning. Like don't do anything else.
Act like it's a big game because
Like
it is.
like lock in. It's a big game. If you're a student right now, like don't not watch. Like wake up and have a fun day and have some beers early, responsibly.
Yes.
Like go. We gotta. There will be seasons like this that happen all the time in the grand scheme of our lives. It's the journey. Like we owe it. We're not going to be fair weather fans here. We're just not going to do it. I know a lot of fair weather fans, and I don't respect them. We got to go in and like be fans right now and go hard.
Agreed. It's about Penn State. It's not about James Franklin or Drew Aller or Terry Smith. It's about Penn State. And yet, I mean, last Sunday morning, which I guess was 2 days ago, I woke up. I had like a beer at 8:30 for the first time in a very long time, and I was like, I kind of miss this, man. Like it's been I didn't make it up to Happy Valley this year. I was like, I kind of miss just waking up and getting into the mix early. So do that on Saturday. It's still Ohio State. It's still Penn State.
Let's go. Let's win.
All right. Yeah, we'll be there Saturday. So expect updates. If you're gonna be there, text us. Let us know. Get a beer. And if they win, man, it's gonna be a fun night in the old OHIO. All right. Anything else from you?
That's it, man.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot for listening, guys. Let's beat Ohio State, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, drop us those 5 stars. Same thing for Apple Music. It means a lot if you follow the show. Yeah. Thanks for the support, guys, and we'll see you this weekend.
Thank you, guys. See ya.